Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Chess Blitz postmortem. This is a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 83, where I was white. I started with e4, and my opponent selected the Philidor defense. An unusual move, knight c6 and knight f6 looks like are the most common moves, but d6, the Philidor, is still a respectable opening, and you can play against it with bishop c4. It looks like knight c3 may be a move. And d4, the most common move, is what I played. And he takes, which actually I didn't realize that was the most common. The prescribed move in the old days was, when I was learning, was knight d7. That's called the Hannum variation, and that was supposed to be a solid move for black, although not still leading to somewhat cramped positions. So e takes d4, giving up the center immediately, but I think black gets some chances to kick this knight around. It's not too stable on on d4 there, so he has some compensation. And we follow what turns out to be the main moves up until I play bishop d3. So right here, yeah, bishop e7, again, the most common move. So at this point here we have maybe the main line of the Philidor defense, the modern main line. And here, the top moves, according to the opening book, are bishop e2, bishop f4, or g3, or bishop c4. And if you look at the engine evaluation, it likes these moves: bishop c4, bishop e2, bishop f4. They're all sort of jockeying for position, except for g3. It doesn't approve of that one, I guess. And you see these moves give white an opening advantage. Maybe this is slightly larger than usual, but not, I mean, this is not like it's a winning game or anything. So, you know, the Philidor has somewhat of a dubious reputation. You never see it played these days, but in fact, I've never found any sure way of getting a strong advantage against it. So I was open to trying something different. And my idea here was to defend the e-pawn and then push f4 here to try and grab more space in the center. So I follow through with this plan. And we're going to keep the chess engine on. There was a lot of fiery tactics towards the end, and it would be hard to keep track of it without the engine, so I'm going to leave that turned on. So we follow up with some logical moves here. Let's look at the notation page. Both sides castle. And then I play f4, and the computer does not approve of f4. So let's back up just a second and see what it thinks should be going on. It says I still have an advantage here. So moves like h3, keeping the knight out of this square, on g4. Rook e1, yeah, just supporting the center. Knight f5 is an interesting move, going after the bishop. That probably should have been considered. Yeah, knight f5 was a move I would definitely think about. Okay, but I played f4. It's a different way of playing, and maybe not the best. And it says knight c5, which my opponent played, is a good way to answer it. And now I just moved my king off the diagonal. I didn't want any trouble to start here. And you know, I determined there was no good way to save the bishop. What is the computer? Computer recommends bishop e3, rook b1. Yeah, none of these really prevent black from exchanging the bishop. So after this, he grabs the bishop pair, and black has a slight advantage. So this is interesting, but it lets me a6 maybe is a little bit too slow here. He could strike back with d5 immediately, or c5. Changing its mind. So maybe c5 immediately, but he's going to get to play c5 anyway. So about an even game. a6, still about even. Okay. Queen e1, didn't approve of that, but I'm building up for a kingside attack. I think this is a logical plan. It thinks he should play c5 here, which he does. And knight to b3. Now I want to attack on the king side. I'm giving up on the queen side and going to the king side here. So, well, this is interesting. So the computer thinks the queen side play is stronger than my king side play, basically. But not by much. I mean, this is all within the range of even. So we've played here a good 15 moves without any major blunders. And yeah, as you let the computer think about it more and more, it tends towards equality. So I think we're both playing okay here. And I'm just continuing my build-up. I didn't see any breakthrough moves. Yeah, and the computer didn't find any here either. So you have to always be on the alert. So knight g5 Could have been countered by c4 here, maybe. D takes c4. Yeah, that's an idea. He plays rook a6, and so he missed that little chance there. Now d5, yeah, so d5 was a mistake. I thought maybe it was a mistake, but it's not a huge mistake. It now gives just a slight edge. So, but the main thing is it gives me this move e5 where I can harass the knight, and now I'm really threatening something over here. But he can defend with h6, which he does. And now I try this tricky move, knight g e6. Oh, look, it shows up on the radar screen of the computer here. So it says e takes f6, probably the simplest way to play for a slight advantage. Yeah, I just didn't see much coming out of this. I take, he takes, or knight takes f7. I did think about knight takes f7 for a little bit. Let's look at one of these lines. I'm curious about what the computer is thinking after e takes f6, bishop takes f6. So e takes, bishop takes. I mean, doesn't this win a piece for me? Oh, my knight is trapped. His knight has nowhere to go. That's pretty interesting. All my pieces are covered. So knight g to e6 is going to get played anyway. Okay. So I wasn't aware of that one. So I didn't realize he had the idea of playing bishop takes f6. I assumed he would take back with the pawn there. But none of these promise a whole lot. Knight takes f7, rook takes f7. Yeah, it's a kamikaze, and then you can grab a desperado. I mean, you give up the knight, and then you grab this knight. Okay, but I played knight g e6. So the idea is you fork the king and the queen if he takes with a pawn, which he does. Take back with the other knight, and you're still forking the king, the queen, and the rook, I mean. And the problem is, I was thinking he would have to move his queen here, and I could grab this, and then when he takes back, I grab the knight, and I come out, exchange up. But he has this nice move, rook takes e6, so he still gives up the exchange, but I've actually given up two knights. I sacked one knight, and then I give up the other knight to win the exchange. And so now black is better from this point on. But there is one time here where he gives me a chance. And, it's still a dangerous position because I have pressure on the f-file. I was expecting him to just trade off. But what's the computer was recommending? Queen e8. Okay, just maneuvering the queen over here. That makes sense. He plays d4. And now I'm getting back in the game. I exchange first. And then I bring my king over. Now it's still an advantage to black. Knight g5, attacking my queen. Now it thinks I should just move my queen, but my idea was to trade this off and then get a piece on the f-file. Oh, yeah, and he would be totally winning here with the move bishop e3 check, because I can't move my king or he will take my rook and checkmate me. So this was a blunder, and so that's why this whole sequence here, I just better off moving my queen. And I just have a slight disadvantage here. Well, more than slight. I'm actually losing. Yeah, that's a losing margin. Okay, so he lets me get away with this once. He plays his queen to e8. And you see black still has got the winning edge here. But there was this one move here. Yeah, queen h5. Yeah, so queen h5. This was my one chance here to win with the move e7. And the point is this bishop is pinned, which I didn't appreciate that. It can move with check, and then he can trade queens. But my queen is now defending my rook, and this pawn on e7 is threatening to queen, and bishop takes e7 is met by queen takes queen. So that was the interesting point in the game from my point of view. My one chance to win. I played queen f8 check, which would be a draw with best play. He goes king h7. And now I need to go queen f7, which I thought about. And if he trades, then I get a strong pawn on f8. So how this would go would be queen f7, new variation. Bishop e3 check. Might as well throw in the check. King h1. Queen e2. Yeah, he doesn't want to trade. And then now queen f5 check, and I assume I just get a perpetual check here. Yeah, king h8. Here. Okay, so I could still draw the game at this point. But I wasn't aware of everything that was going on here, and I played this move e7, and now this is losing. And he finds the best way to refute it. Queen g6, top computer move here. Good, nice move. See, it's setting up a indirect threat, which I didn't notice. The bishop and the queen are coordinating on the g2 square. And so I go ahead and queen, not noticing that, and then he gets to move this bishop with check. And so it's just mate in one at this point. So so that move e8 queen allows a mate in two. My best defense here is rook f2. But after rook f2, he can just pin that rook, and now he's threatening mate here again because the rook is pinned. King h1. Oh, unpinning, but then he can just take the rook. So that's pretty good. Two bishops up. And let's see, queen takes f2. This is interesting. So he'd be a piece up, but I still have this pawn which is threatening the queen. Do I have any other choice besides queen takes f2? Queen h8 check. King takes. Oh, these are just various things that fail. So he's going to mate me. Oh, he's threatening mate immediately. Right, once again on g2 there's a mate threat. So queen takes here, defends against the mate threat, and it's really the only move in that position. And now he can stop these pawns from queening, and he's got an extra piece. Bishop c6, yeah, stopping that pawn from queening. Okay, so easy win for black from that point of view. But when I play e8 queen, it lets him finish in a more dramatic fashion with the mate in two. Bishop e3 check, king moves, and queen takes g2. So this is a nice setup to remember. And getting a discovered attack and a move with check. Nice way to finish the game. Okay, hope you guys found that instructive, and leave any comments you have in the section below, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.